Will you be sticking around this time, or are you gonna run away again?
What the hell is happening?
Hey, what's up with the curse words? Are they allowed now?
Did you just hear what I was thinking?
Are you surprised? You've been talking to me in your head for years. Was I supposed to leave you hanging forever?
Is it really you?
Nope. It couldn't possibly be the real me, seeing how I'm... you know... dead. Like Dad used to say, there's nothing wrong with asking questions. Just make sure you think before you ask.
So what are you? A ghost? Oh, maybe I'm finally going crazy.
I'm not a ghost. At least, I don't think so. Let's just say that I'm here. Isn't that good enough?
It's more than good enough, my little fawn. This is the best thing that's happened to me in a long time. Probably the most worrying thing also.
Mom, am I really scaring you right now?
Hey, don't do that! Did nobody teach you it's rude to read people's minds?
How about you stop thinking and talk to me instead?
Oh, you've grown up so much. A proper mini Astrid Hofferson.
Astrid Hofferson? Who's that?
Never mind. It isn't important. But first things first. Why do you still have that thing on your head?
I know. So corny.
Oh, you say that now, but back then you loved your computer princess costume. You just had to wear it to Mina's birthday.
What can I say? I was young and dumb.
And now you're all old and wise.
I'm glad we agree. I'm becoming more and more like you.
Excuse me?
Don't be modest. You've done pretty well so far. Come on, let's check out what's upstairs. Oh, wow. The view is really great.
Wait, what do you mean by so far?
Well, with Auntie Jan and Dad. You struggled for a bit, but eventually you managed to find the right words. That was impressive.
Well, not really. I kind of suck.
Hey! That's my mother you're talking about. And it's not true. I mean, look at me. I turned out okay.
Oh, my little fawn.
So what was it that was so scary then?
I was going to share my life with someone for the first time.
But you were already sharing it with Dad.
It's not the same, little dear. We love each other very much, me and your dad, but we knew that it could always evaporate. I still care about him a lot, but things will never be the same between us. With you, I knew it was for life.
And that was scary?
I was a little afraid of losing myself, but I also loved the idea. When you were born, I knew only one thing. I'd never be alone again. That's how it was supposed to be. But I screwed it up. I was a shitty parent. Just like I was a shitty daughter and a shitty wife. And I lost you.
Mom, stop. You didn't lose me. You really think that I... what, disappeared?
I abandoned you. And I think about it all the time, whenever I close my eyes.
What happens when you close your eyes?
I feel the shards of glass on my skin, on my clothes, beneath my feet. I see the crown of your hair, sparkling like a tiny sunshine on the tarmac. And then I see your open eyes. How can I ever be happy with that tattooed on my eyelids?
Mom, maybe you should stop thinking about it. thinking about it like that. I mean,
I don't want to. I mustn't. If I stopped thinking about it, that would be like killing you all over again. Astrid? Don't leave me, Astrid. I don't want you to leave. I'm starting to remember, but it's still so blurry. As if I didn't really want. What the hell am I afraid of? You know this tableau, my little fawn? It's been gathering dust in the back of my personal collection. I haven't displayed it in ages. Here, the artist is depicting her first day at the beach with her daughter. Do you remember? You started worshipping the sand as soon as we got there. You were delighted. We were already imagining you as a teenager with like 7,933 vials of sand everywhere and a subscription to Sand Fans, the Arenophile Review. Hey, if it was between that or weed, we weren't sure which would be worse. The weather was so nice that day. We had eaten ice cream under the big umbrella. Then you pulled out your little tongue, your head got close to my arm, and I felt something cold and wet above my elbow. "You taste salty," you said. You came up to me with a huge seashell. I never understood where you found it. You handed it to me with great pomp and told me I had to write a movie about it. I complained, I don't know his life. I have no idea what he's thinking about, if he's sad or... And then you asked me, so about what is it that you write movies then? And I was speechless for a moment, but... Suddenly, I felt it welling up in my heart and my stomach. Happiness. And then, that's it. That's what I wanted to write about. I had totally forgotten this, but at one point in my life, I wanted to write about happiness. Since the dawn of time, people have needed rituals to mark the big life events. Here, the artist is depicting her final farewell to her daughter. At least that's what she thought at the time. Neither Alex nor I could picture you in a tiny coffin. We really preferred that you remained with us, like fine sand in a pretty vase. But in the end, even that was too heavy. I kept thinking about it. One day, on a whim, I made the call. I didn't tell your father. I didn't feel like explaining. I just called Diane, and I told her to meet me over there, by the sea. And she didn't ask any questions, nothing. She just said, I'll be there. I was crying when we arrived at the cliff, overlooking the beach. Diane gently took out the urn from my hands, opened it towards the sea, and she said, Donnie was a good bowler. And a good man. He was a man who loved the outdoors. and bowling. I burst out laughing and snot splurted out of my nose all over my fucking chin. And Dan was laughing too, and 1,000 particles of you flew out around us, all up in my hair. I thought it would be freeing to see you leave like this, disappear. That was the goal of this ceremony, but now I know that it didn't work. It didn't make me feel free, rather it made me feel the emptiness. Here, the artist is depicting herself on the bus, back from the shore. Outside, the setting sun represents something or other. Is it the end of something? Or the beginning? I was holding your urn against me the whole way back. It was empty, but it felt heavier than ever before. I looked outside the window, and this poem came to my mind. It's Lamartine. I had to learn it by heart in high school. Setting or just rising in a sky clear or gray, what good is the sun? I disregard the day. Were I to track the whole long course of his travel, my eyes would just witness all the void and gravel. I desire nothing that he could ever disperse. I don't demand a thing from the great universe. I was all by my lonesome on the bus back, with just a few specks of you. That's what I felt when I came back from the cliff. The poem, the empty bus, the urn on my knees. A void. Back then, I thought it was a good thing. I said to myself, maybe I can start writing now that this is done. And then, nothing. Thank you for visiting this exhibit with me, my little fawn. What did you learn? When I see all of this again, I wonder what made me think that making you disappear would take the pain away. Attempting to erase every bit of you meant locking me out of this incredible little room inside my heart. The place that gave me life. The place that inspired me. Now I know that I need to keep that space for you within myself, so that I can write and I can live. You're still with me.
You really think that what, disappeared?
No, of course not, my little fawn. But when you died, I found myself in an impossible situation. I was thinking about you all the time. I kept telling myself it was my fault you weren't here anymore. It's awful to love someone that much, you know?
On the contrary, I think it's beautiful.
Sure, it's beautiful and awful. So I looked for a solution.
How?
I did what I always do. I watched movies.
Like what?
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's about a couple who are separating.
Mom.
I know. I just wasn't in the mood for rom-coms at the time. If I had been, I wouldn't have gone for something starring Jim Carrey. Anyway, in the movie, there's a machine that erases people's painful memories. Jim Carrey is heartbroken, so he uses that machine because that's the only way he can go on living. That's what I tried to do with you. To get you out of my mind.
Except you didn't have a machine.
No. I had medication, I had a job, and I even did a farewell ceremony. I thought that if I could get you out of my head, I might be able to feel better.
Did it work?
Of course not. Why should it? That wasn't the right way to handle things. Now I know how lucky I am. To be able to think about you every day, even though it's hard sometimes. I think about your laugh, the one you made when your dad would attack you with a toy knight. think about your little doodles. You came back from kindergarten every day with fistfuls of them. We filled up all the walls with them. So we ended up having to sneak some into the garbage.
I knew it!
But I promise I always looked carefully at them before. I think about your birthday pizza.
My... what?
For your 4th birthday, you didn't want a cake and asked for a 4-cheese pizza. Your father was so proud. I think about all of it, little dear. And it's a reminder that you are here with me. I carry that with me into every decision I have to make. And I won't let it go for the world. It's a bit silly, isn't it?
What is?
All of this. Me talking to you right now. Also, just look at this sky. You usually only get these kinds of sunsets in Hollywood movies. Marie is on death's door and I'm out here chatting with my daughter's ghost?
I told you I'm not a ghost. And I love chatting with you, just getting to know you better.
It's a little late for that, don't you think?
It's never too late for a good story. That's what you always said.
I say a lot of stupid stuff.
And if you'd written down half the ones you taught me at bedtime, you'd be rich. Do you remember the one with the horse tribe that does karate?
Ninja Palooza?
Yeah, it was so good. And the dog who kept solving crimes around the farm while drunk.
Inspector Drunkass. No one is going to publish that.
That's too bad. It would be a lot better than Marie's books of Russian folk tales.
Those books were a snooze fest.
Right?
Then why did you hug her so hard every time she bought you a new set?
Because you can be a child and still know how to be diplomatic. Where are you up to with your script?
I haven't looked at it in ages.
Is your job for Grandma taking too much time?
Getting myself out of bed is taking too much time.
Oh, come on, stop it. The whole depressive thing doesn't suit you.
And, to be honest, I'm not too fond of the whole petulant tween thing. I liked it better when you were 4 years old.
What are you going to do? Give me a spanking?
No, I suppose you're too old for that. I'm so happy to see you.
So am I. And I think you're very pretty.
Oh, thank you, little phone. You're pretty sharp for an imaginary kid. I'm sorry, Astrid.
Sorry for what?
You know.
I have no idea. I don't read minds anymore. My mom raised me better than that.
That's cute, little phone. I'm so sorry about... That wasn't a joke.
Sorry, I'm sorry. It's just... Do you remember what happened?
No. I mean, I remember that we were going to Mina's birthday party. I was driving, but after that, it's all a blur.
See? That's why I was laughing. You totally forgot how it happened. For all you know, we were struck by a meteor through the windshield or something. So I ask again. Why are you sorry?
Stop it. I know what you're trying to do, but whatever happened, it was me, Astrid. It was my fault.
All right. You're not ready to talk. You need more time to think.
Astrid. Come back. Need more time to think. What did she mean by that? What am I even talking about? I'm mulling over my dead daughter's imaginary advice. I'm going off the deep end here. I know. That's what I need to focus on. I think it's coming back. Yes, it is. Just try a little harder, Junon. I need to dig deeper. What does it mean to be a mother? Is it being 100% focused on your child? Is it always knowing what to do? Never having any doubt? Is it sacrificing your ambitions? If you do all that, are you automatically a good mom? And what if you don't manage it? Does that make you a bad mom? I've asked myself all of these questions a lot. Do you want to try and find an answer together? Good mom? Bad mom? Maybe I should start with telling you the fun moments. I was so fired up by your birth. I felt like I was high on drugs. I was taking care of you, working, seeing friends. I was living. Alex and I even became involved in politics. We were trading weekends to attend climate marches. I was ready to fight to make a change in the world. Thus, within the span of a year, I delivered 2 babies. Astrid, in January, just over 8 pounds, hungry as a wolf, and a mug to die for. And then, my first professional screenplay in August. 47 pages. A veritable leap forward in my career. All of a sudden, things just fell into place. I was a screenwriter. I was getting paid for writing. Sure, it was a crappy series, but that turd paid very well. I was so proud of everything that was happening to me. And at the... Because there were some dark thoughts too. The ones your light could not dispel. You didn't really get the chance to witness it, but this is a funny time we're living in. Imagine having an incredible daughter and a job you've wanted forever, and then you get glued to a screen, and it bums you out. I would see people on social media,
You know, people I would never even have heard of in real life. And they were great parents, great artists, working on great stuff, having great success. Everybody seemed way ahead of me. And it felt like it was my fault for being so behind. How dared I aspire to being happy? "58 tons per year. A kid equals 58 tons of carbon dioxide per year. That's the same as 58 plane trips to New York and back, or burning 50 tons of coal. Having a baby in this world, as everything was collapsing around us, that was a stupid idea." A couple of months before you were born, Marie showed up with a cardboard box under her arm. She had found the mobile. When I was preparing for your arrival, I hung it above your crib. After you were born, I would spend hours watching it turn every time you breathed. It was always moving, finding its balance. Wonderful. Alive. Just like you, and also so fragile. Way too delicate. A mere gust of wind could have shattered it to a million pieces. Just like you. I found it adorable that Marie came to bring us this mobile. And yet, I was scared when I learned I was pregnant. I was scared at the mere idea of telling her. It was beyond me. I panicked. So I decided to hide you for as long as I could. Obviously, she eventually noticed that I was pregnant. And her reaction was unexpected. She was jumping for joy. Why had I been so scared? It seemed so silly. Oh, wow. I just remembered something that happened years ago. I guess I was 16 or 17 years old. I was in my room, staring at this mobile instead of doing my homework. I don't know why I'd kept it hung to the ceiling up to that day. Marie was in the next room, the living room, giving an interview. It was a first. I overheard her talking to the journalist with a soft voice. She was obviously trying to win her over. It was funny at first. She was giving all these juicy details about the crazy nights of a female artist in the 80s. And then she said she got pregnant after one of those nights. And at that time, she seriously thought about giving up the child. And suddenly, I understood that that child, the one she didn't want, that mistake, that was me. To me, being a mom was one of the greatest joys in my life. I wanted to feel you growing inside of me and then meet you and live all that, the whole experience. And writing was the same. I really wanted to do it, and then I actually did. I wanted these things. I bore them and I cherished them. But I struggled with them too, because I was scared. I had doubts, but really most of all I had this lingering feeling that maybe I shouldn't have been there. And when I lost you, and writing had lost its meaning, that feeling came back with a vengeance. This feeling, this knowledge that whatever I do, it is not enough.
Why are you sorry?
It's hard to be a good parent when you're a damaged adult. You become responsible for a life. That requires courage, confidence, and a lot of nerve. And it's really easy to get it wrong.
What does that mean?
How can I explain? For the first few months of your life, you were like an extension of me. You couldn't talk, you couldn't walk, you could barely see, actually. And I was feeding you out of my own body.
Yuck.
Yeah, yuck! Having your life in my hands. That funny feeling. That's what being a mom was all about to me. And then one day... you got sick. It just looked like a cold at first. Alex would wash your nose twice a day with saline. Pulling neon yellow snot tentacles out of your nose amused him no end. I couldn't do it. Then, things got worse. One Friday night, I was alone with you. You started having difficulty breathing. You were in the living room, stacking wooden cubes, and I just kept staring at your chest. You were struggling to get enough air into your lungs. I tried copying your breathing, and I got woozy. It set my head spinning.
So, what did you do?
I grabbed my phone and called our doctor. I told him I didn't care what time it was, that I needed to come at once. I felt really guilty that it'd taken me that long. I hadn't wanted to disturb him. I was so scared that you were going to die. And when I got to the doctor's office, I was a mess. The doctor asked me what was wrong with you, and I said that you were having difficulty breathing, and he was so calm. He made me want to smash his teeth in. He asked me to put you down on the examination table and take your shirt off so he could listen to your breathing. And when he got close to you with his stethoscope...
What happened?
You peed on him.
Excuse me?
This beautiful golden stream. A perfect arc from your hoo-ha to his coat.
Awkward.
Well, you didn't mind at the time. You were chirping and staring at him. And he said, well, this little girl looks perfectly healthy. And I started crying.
Well, yeah, you must have been relieved.
I thought so at the time. But it was more than that. I can see it now. The most important part of being a parent, and also the hardest lesson to learn. You need to trust your children.
Trust them to pee on doctors?
Trust them to live. You weren't there so I could feel like a good mother. You were there to live your life, to become yourself. It seems obvious, doesn't it? But I didn't see it. So I spent a lot of my time feeling guilty. Telling myself that I didn't deserve you.
What? I don't believe it. I was your biggest fan, you know?
Really?
Of course. You were relentless. You even found the time to work on your scripts. You were working your ass off to make your stories amazing while you were busy taking care of me. How did you manage to be strong like that?
I mean, your father was there as well.
I know! Imagine! 2 kids at home!
Oh, come on.
Mom, you know I love Dad with all my heart. But in my view, he probably regards mental fortitude as a kind of superpower.
Okay. It was really hard. I almost gave up so many times. My career wasn't going where I wanted, certainly not as fast as I wanted, but I held on. You gave me so much energy.
I presume I took a lot too.
Of course, sweetie. I often wished you had an off switch, especially when I saw my face in the mirror the next morning. But that was just a detail. Every morning was magical. I'd grab you in my arms. You'd smile back,
You trusted me. I had no more doubt, no more questions. I knew exactly who I was. No one had ever looked at me that way. What an incredible gift.
It's just a shame you spent your best years writing for a soap opera.
Wow! You do a great Marie impression. I'm better now, you know? It still hurts like hell. But I get it. I can survive this. On a good day, I can even convince myself that it could be worse. You might have been a goth teenager.
What's a goth?
Well, I could show you a couple pictures of 14-year-old me. Unfortunately, I think they all got destroyed in a fire or something. What a shame. You've taught me all of this. You helped me open doors inside myself. That's what allowed me to grow. Of course, I'll go on without you. I have to. But it's really, really sad.
How does the movie end?
What movie?
The Eternal Sunshine of... whatever.
No. Well, Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet meet again. And since they don't remember each other, they fall in love again. But then they find old recordings of them saying horrible things about each other.
And? Do they split up again?
No. They decide to experience their relationships again because they want to recapture the good memories. Even though they know that it's going to hurt them. I loved that ending.
I know what you mean. I understand why you're sad, Mom. But you can't be sad forever. It doesn't help you, and it doesn't help me. Life's short enough as it is. Why waste any more time?
Do you think it's that easy? That I can just press a button and pow?
You can be so egotistical sometimes.
Excuse me?
Where do I fit into all this?
But I was just...
So what? I'm going to be a bad memory for the rest of your life? A distressing thought inside your head? Do you even realize what that means? I'm scared.
Oh, what are you scared of, my little phone?
I'm scared that I'll disappear.
But you're already dead.
That's not the point. I'm talking about disappearing from here. This is the only place where I still exist. Just here. But I don't want to be this rusty nail that's killing you by degrees. You do realize that's not me at all? You do know that if you keep at this, I'm not going to exist anywhere. Anymore. You don't have to do this to me, Mom. You don't have to do this to yourself. How much longer do I have to make you miserable?
I know you don't deserve that, my little dear. It's all my fault.
Stop it, Mom. Just stop. You're stuck on repeat. I know that this can be easy to process. And I know that the truth hurts. But right here, right now, you're gonna have to remember. Really.
I'm not sure. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Astrid? Astrid! She's right. Of course she's right. I need to remember now. It's time. I think I'm ready. That's it. I remember now. Not everything, but...
You could at least crack a window. All that rain brought a cool front.
It had just rained. The road was wet and slippery.
Ah, shit, I can't drive with these heels on. I didn't sleep all night. I can't focus. Also...
I was exhausted. Stressed out. In no condition to drive. I was nervous about meeting with my producer.
Mom, watch for the deer!
I
I don't know why I didn't see the deer earlier. My mind must have been elsewhere. When I heard your warning, my first thought was to avoid hitting it. They were your favorite animal. So I swerved and we ran off the road. And then...